This is Neil's Han Dynasty. Please like, share, and subscribe. Buy some silver, some platinum, and some crystallized osmium. Don't listen to me. Everything I say is to be taken as bull crapiola. You guys have a nice day. Talk to you later. Bye. No, just kidding. Let's see. Got a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff here. Let's see. Okay, here we go. We'll start off with BRICS. Love, love, joy, joy, peace, happiness. BRICS is getting along so well. They are fixing to go to war. Why is BRICS going to war with BRICS? I don't know. We're fixing to find out.
Most remote and inhospitable regions on Earth is being engineered into something new. It's happening quietly, methodically, and with purpose. Along the length of the Himalayas, roads are appearing where there were none. Runways are being extended at extreme altitudes. Rivers, once left to flow freely, are being dammed and diverted. When examined case by case, it looks like development, but step back and it's not.
Now, right off the bat, I did a report the other day where the GERD, New River Dam in Ethiopia, is stopping water flow, and 2 countries downstream are wanting to go to war because of it. And you just heard that China's stopping water flow on several rivers going to India. Do you think they want war?
Not just the landscape that's being reshaped, it's the balance of power. The sheer scale of these projects dwarfs anything seen outside wartime. The terrain is being reconfigured for movement, reach, and accessibility matters here. The line of actual control, which is the de facto border between India and China, is not fixed by treaties, but by presence. Patrols define territory, and outposts define claims. And so, by building dual-use infrastructure, assets that appear civilian but are strategic in function, Beijing is making its intentions clear. The locations alone say what words don't. Placed just high enough to look down on the rest of South Asia.
I put this in my ears, and I haven't asked anyone to repeat themselves in over 3 months. This is magic. I wish.
Tibet is also rich in minerals such as chromium, copper, lithium, borax, and more. But the real game changer these days is uranium. Even tech giants like Microsoft, Nvidia, and Meta are making their moves. That's where today's sponsor F3 Uranium comes in. See the ticker on screen. In recent years, F3 Uranium is staying focused. And so, as the world turns to nuclear energy to power AI, data centers, and energy security, F3 Uranium is in a prime position to be part of the solution. Check out their ticker on the screen. 15 and G318 highways, all of which enable faster military movement toward Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh. These aren't just roads anymore, they're military corridors. Airports, too, are expanding. At Shigatse Heping, new garrisons and drone facilities have been built. The airport now features helicopter landing pads, surface-to-air missile systems, longer runways, and fighter jets such as the J-11. With these upgrades, Shigatse...
This is being built by China on the Indian border. Their allies in BRICS.
Heping has effectively transformed from a civilian airport into a military hub capable of sustaining high-altitude air operations along the western Himalayan front. Similar expansion projects are underway at Shannon Longsi Airport and Nari Gunsa Airport. The latter sits just 200 kilometers from Pangong Lake, where Chinese and Indian forces have in recent years clashed in melee combat. Meanwhile, up north, China has expanded the Shache Yarkand, Yutian Wanfang, and Ngari Burang airports. Each is now capable of serving both civilian and military operations. These upgrades add to a growing network that includes existing military air bases in Lhasa Gongar, Damshung, Ningchi Mainling, Changdu Bangda, Hotan Kungang, and Tashkurgan Kunjarab. In total, at least 24 airports along the Himalayas have been converted into dual-use facilities, with many located within 60 kilometers of the China-India border. That's some serious air power. But Beijing isn't done yet. It now aims to connect many of these airports and bases through railways, such as the Sichuan-Tibet line. Once complete, the line will link Chengdu to Lhasa in under 13 hours, enabling the rapid movement of troops, ammunition, and equipment across 1,600 kilometers of rugged.
Just out of curiosity for the two people in chat, why do you think China is building up their forces so massively along India? Are they going to have a party, or do you think they're going to go to war?
Terrain. More importantly, it will branch into smaller tracks that reach even closer to the Indian border. Yes, China has been quite busy, but power projection isn't just about missiles and jets. Sometimes it looks like dams and turbines. That's why many of China's infrastructure projects in Tibet tie directly into hydropower. You see, China holds the world's largest hydropower potential, nearly 3 times that of the United States. Since the 1950s, it has built over 20,000 dams taller than 15 meters, making hydropower the country's second largest source of electricity. Tibet alone accounts for nearly a third of that output. However, perhaps more crucially, hydropower gives China control over the headwaters of major rivers like the Brahmaputra, Mekong, and Salween. These are lifelines for the downstream nations. And so, with that leverage in mind, China is now building the largest dam on Earth in a remote stretch of the Himalayas on the Yarlung Tsangpo River. The project, known as the Medog Mega Dam, is estimated to cost around $137 billion.
Holy.
And it may well be the largest engineering project in history. Once completed, it's expected to generate 60 gigawatts of electricity, which is triple the output of the Three Gorges Dam and enough to power some 300 million homes.
You've never seen anything like this. Have you heard about Sonoshi Pro? It's the brand new powerful cleaning device.
Meanwhile, on the western end of the Himalayas, China is quietly working on a second mega dam along the Mabya Zangbo River. Technical details, like its height, length, or capacity, haven't been made public, but everything about the project suggests it will be massive in scale. However, just like with the dual-use infrastructure, the strategy here runs deeper than just generating electricity. Downstream countries, like India and Bangladesh, fear that once these dams become operational, China could weaponize water flow. For example, during an unrelated crisis or a negotiation, it could either release too much water and flood certain areas, or hold water back and trigger droughts. That sounds wild, but the concern is valid. The Medog Megadam, for instance, feeds directly into the Brahmaputra, a river that sustains India's Arunachal and Assam regions and much of Bangladesh. Arunachal Pradesh is a particularly sensitive flashpoint. China considers it part of South Tibet and thus legally claims it as its own. India, however, controls it. So, by pushing ahead with megadams on Tibet's rivers, Beijing isn't just generating power, it's moving closer to hydrohegemony in South Asia. And this isn't without precedent. In the 1990s, China built a series of dams on the Mekong River in Yunnan province. Over time, these dams reduced the river's flow by nearly 50%. Disrupting agriculture, fisheries, and local economies in Thailand, Laos, and Myanmar. History may be about to repeat itself. So, why is this all happening now? Well, energy demand is at an all-time high. The AI boom has kicked off a global tech race, one fueled by data and powered by processors. Training AI models requires massive computing power, and that means massive data centers. These centers consume staggering amounts of electricity. For perspective, a single hyperscale data center can consume between 100 and 200 megawatts, which is enough to power a small city. Multiply that by hundreds, and it becomes clear. Winning the AI race will require nothing less than a complete overhaul of the power grid. Goldman Sachs estimates that power demand from data centers could rise by 50% by 2027, and by 165% by 2030. China is looking to stay ahead of the curve, and this chart shows what that looks like. While electricity generation in the United States has remained nearly flat since 1999, China has more than quadrupled its output and is now aiming to maintain that momentum. That's where Tibet comes in.
Yeah, and that's also where micro and small modular reactors come in. We're going to blow them away. Next year, when you look at that chart, or 2 years, when you look at that chart, you'll see America's energy production about 4 times what China's is.
It plays a crucial role in China's energy plans. Its rivers flow steadily throughout the year, and their high elevation gives them natural hydropower strength. That makes the Himalayas not just a border zone, but a future energy hub. So, when China builds rail tracks into Tibet or dams on rivers near contested borders, it's not just about encircling India. It's about powering an AI economy, securing water control, and reinforcing sovereignty all in one stroke.
Yeah, be prepared for war is what you got to be prepared for on that one. All right, that's enough about that stuff. I've told you guys I've been doing reports on India and China fixing to go to war for a long time. Oh, here we go. You're going to love this one. It is The History of Simple Things. And this is a funny title. Why does platinum cost more than gold, even though right now it doesn't? That's the title.
Have you ever looked at jewelry or precious metals and wondered, why is platinum, a silvery white metal most of us know from wedding rings or luxury watches, more expensive than gold?
Even though it's
After
two-thirds
all,
the price,
gold has been the
one-third
king
the
of
price.
value for thousands of years. It's in treasure chests, coins, Olympic medals, even the phrase gold standard. So how does platinum, a metal most people barely think about, manage to top it in price? Well, it turns out the answer isn't just about rarity. It's also about science, economics, industry, and history, all mixed with a bit of human psychology. So buckle up,
Wow, throw it all
because
in
this
there,
is
huh?
the surprisingly complex story of why platinum costs more than gold, right here, on History of Simple Things.
The History of Simpleness. Or is that of Simpletons? History of Simpletons, that's what it is.
Let's start with the obvious one, rarity. Platinum is significantly rarer than gold. In fact,
Significantly rarer.
estimates suggest that all the platinum ever mined could fit into a cube about 21 feet on each side. That's tiny. To put it into perspective, for every 180 ounces of gold mined, only about 1 ounce of platinum is produced.
So it should cost 180 times more, huh?
And it gets even more interesting. Most of the world's platinum comes from just a handful of mines,
Yep.
mostly in
5.
South Africa,
4 down
followed
there.
by Russia and a
One
little
there.
bit from Canada.
Small amount,
If
but that's
something
gonna
disrupts
change.
mining operations in any of those regions, like strikes, political instability, or logistical challenges,
All of which is going on in South Africa.
it can send platinum prices soaring. Gold, by contrast, is found in many parts of the world and is mined more consistently. So, simply put, platinum is rarer and harder to get. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. Now let's talk about how difficult it is to extract platinum. Gold, while not easy to mine, is usually found in higher concentrations in ore. Platinum, on the other hand, is spread out in much smaller amounts. To produce just 1 ounce of platinum, you need to process about 10 tons of ore. That's right.
See, now this is why I like clean air metals, and I've given you guys reports on clean air metals up in Thunder Bay, Canada. All of their drilling results and their mapped out veins show high density ore, higher than what this guy's talking about, and closer to the surface. So when they turn over from an exploration and drilling speculator company over to mining, which they will do, they will be able to produce more high quality ore of platinum cheaper and faster than any country on the planet has mining capabilities to do right now. That's why I like that stock.
10 tons. Compare that to gold,
Hey, Theron.
which typically requires around 3 tons of ore per ounce. The process to refine platinum is also much more complex and energy intensive. It involves multiple steps, harsh chemicals, and high temperatures, all of which add cost. It takes months from mining to final product. So even if gold prices are high, the effort and energy to bring platinum to market makes it more expensive to produce.
Yeah, you can
While
get it
gold is
cheap.
primarily used in jewelry and as an investment, platinum is a bit of a workhorse. It's heavily used in industry.
Very
One of
heavily.
platinum's most important uses
What's
is
up,
in
C4?
catalytic converters.
This is where he's wrong.
Those devices in cars that help reduce harmful emissions. Platinum helps turn toxic gases like carbon monoxide into less harmful substances.
It's a
Diesel
catalyst.
engines, in particular, rely on platinum more than gasoline engines do.
Nobody believed me at first, but
Nobody
now everybody
believed
wants
me
a
at
pair.
first.
My
Now
friends
everybody
roasted
wants
me
a
for
pair.
buying miracle glasses online.
My God, get a pair of ounces, platinum ounces.
But that's not all. Platinum is used in medical equipment, dental tools, hard disk drives, thermometers, and even cancer treatment drugs. Its unique resistance to corrosion and extreme temperatures makes it essential in many high-tech applications. This industrial demand, combined with its rarity, keeps the value high.
Yet
When the
it's
auto
cheaper than
industry is
gold.
booming, platinum prices often follow. But as you'll see later, that also means platinum can be more volatile than gold.
Yet it's not.
Of course, platinum is also a favorite in the world of luxury jewelry. Its color is naturally white, so it doesn't need to be plated like white gold. It's also extremely durable, heavier than gold, and hypoallergenic, which makes it perfect for engagement rings and watches. But platinum's value in jewelry isn't just practical, it's also symbolic. Because it's rarer and more expensive to work with, platinum has come to represent prestige. Ever hear the term platinum level or platinum credit card? That's not just marketing. Over the years, platinum has become the metal of exclusivity. In fact, in some countries like Japan, platinum outsells gold in jewelry. It's a status symbol, pure and simple. Now, here's where things get a little complicated. While platinum has historically been more expensive than gold, that's not always the case. In recent years, gold has actually overtaken platinum in price at times and stayed there. Why? It comes down to market volatility and perception. Gold is considered a safe haven asset. When economies go through uncertainty, think inflation, war, or recession, investors buy gold because it's stable and trusted. Central banks also stockpile gold. Its price is driven by emotion as much as utility. Platinum, on the other hand, is more tied to industry. If car manufacturing drops or there's a global slowdown, platinum demand and price can fall dramatically. So while platinum can be more expensive, its price swings more wildly than gold.
Yet we only have a 3-month above ground supply of platinum on the planet.
Now here's where things get a little complicated. Over the years, platinum has gained attention from investors, but it's still a niche market compared to gold. You can buy platinum bullion and ETFs, just like gold. But again, gold has the advantage of history. It's something people pass down through generations. Platinum, not so much.
Let's see. What he's not telling you about platinum, not so much, is gold's been around for over 5,000 years. Platinum's been around for about 220, 230 years, not 5,000. So there's a time period differential there.
There's also a newer trend, sustainability. As the world shifts away from fossil fuels and toward electric vehicles, the demand for catalytic converters, and therefore platinum, might decrease. Some analysts worry that this could lower platinum's industrial value in the long term.
Okay, I gotta stop it right there because that's a bunch of bullshit. China bought half the world's supply of platinum last year for a new type of engine that I've been telling people is going to be coming out. It's not a catalytic converter that produces power and horsepower. No, that's exhaust. This is for an engine, an actual engine, not an exhaust system. So the use case for platinum has gone from catalytic converters are going out the window. As I've been telling people, so is refining fuel for gasoline cars. We have 5 refineries out here in the Bay Area. Only one of them produces gasoline. Produce biodiesel. The other 2 just shut down. I don't know what they're going to be producing. So the use for catalytic converters is going out the window, and the price of platinum is ill affected by it because that's not the main use case anymore. So anyone you hear talking about that, they're giving you old news. Ooh, let's see here. Here we go. Here's another good one. This is going to change astrology, astronomy, and everything.
No other star's death is as eagerly awaited as that of Betelgeuse. After all, the red supergiant will treat us to a spectacle during its explosive finale that will probably shine brighter than the full moon and be visible even during the day. In fact, not so long ago,
What's up,
astronomers
Pablo?
even suspected that the supernova of this stellar colossus was imminent. And now,
It's not time for World War. Wrong time, wrong place. They'll come to a deal.
the shoulder star of Orion is making headlines again.
Look at this. This star that my cursor is around in the Orion, this is the main shoulder of Orion's right arm. It's fixing to go supernova if it has not already gone supernova, which means it's no longer going to be there. It's going to be a dark spot, which means Orion, well, I guess it just goes away out of astrology. I don't know how they're going to play that. That's an interesting question. Does anyone know how astrologists will handle Orion without the largest and brightest star of Orion? These 3 down here is what's known as Orion's belt. But this is the star of Orion. It means something to whomever named it, and it's fixing to go
On
forever.
the one hand, there is the assumption that Betelgeuse is rotating significantly
What's up, Salty?
faster than it should because it once swallowed another star. And on the other hand, there is the assumption that it has an unknown companion called Beetle Buddy. So stay tuned to find out what is currently happening with Betelgeuse and how it is keeping the research world in suspense. Big, bigger, the mighty sun. In our broad perception, our mother star often embodies the cosmic measure of all things. That's not particularly surprising, because after all, our source.
Salty, it could have already gone supernova. It's going to take like 1,000 years for the light to get to us. So it's quite possible that it went supernova 999 years ago, and we won't see the light from it till next year. So whenever we actually do see the light from it, it happened 1,000 years before that. So it probably already has gone supernova. We just haven't seen the effects of it yet because of the time-space differential.
Source of warmth and life has an incredible diameter of almost 1.4 million kilometers, theoretically enough space for 1.3 million Earths. And yet, as soon as we start comparing the sun to other giants of the universe, even our mighty central star begins to fade more and more. In the constellation Orion, about 650 light years away from us, Betelgeuse surpasses the sun in every conceivable way.
Look
This
at them
Italian
balls.
trick with raw tomato is making
Oh, it's tomatoes.
The red supergiant has a diameter 800 times that of our host star, and as a result, it shines a whopping 10,000 times brighter. Well, that is, if it sticks to the usual pattern, of course. A few years ago, Betelgeuse astonished experts by dramatically losing brightness within a few weeks. Periodic fluctuations in brightness are not
See, now that
unusual
shoulder's
for
going to be
Orion's
gone in
shoulder
Orion's
star.
belt right there.
This time, it dimmed much faster and more intensely than normal.
How do you think
A brief
astrologers handle
explanation for
that?
better understanding.
All these
The
tarot card
astronomical
readers, they'll be like,
of magnitude indicates the apparent brightness of a celestial body, and the smaller the magnitude value, the brighter the object appears to us. And while Betelgeuse, with an average luminosity of 0.3 to 0.4 magnitudes, is actually the 6th to 7th brightest star in the entire sky, it dimmed to 1.289 magnitudes in December 2019, and consequently plummeted to 21st place in the brightness table. This was a conspicuous development, to say the least, which immediately led some researchers
Pretty
to the
much.
spectacular assumption
Hey, not
that
a problem.
Betelgeuse's
Not a
supernova
problem. Thank you
could
for
be
stopping
imminent.
by, man.
It is clear that this will happen sooner. After all, as a red supergiant, it is now in the very last chapter of its stellar life. And as befits a giant of this magnitude, Betelgeuse will not quietly and secretly bow out of the cosmic stage, but will undergo a brutal explosion that will increase its regular luminosity by a factor of 16,000. Astronomers estimate that it will then reach an apparent brightness of minus 9.5 to minus 10.5 magnitudes.
That's brighter than
As a
the
result,
moon.
it will shine as brightly as the full moon and
In
can
the
even
daytime.
be easily seen during the
What's
day.
up, Pete?
The crucial question now is when exactly Betelgeuse will explode, and the honest answer is that we simply do not know.
So, what do y'all think about that? What you think about that? What you think about that? Betelgeuse is going to go away. What are astrologers and astronomers and card readers and psychics going to do when they lose one of their, well, when they lose Orion? They'll still have his belt. They just won't have Orion. Orion going to go bye-bye. Let's see. Oh, another one of my favorite topics. We got to share this one, guys. We just got to.
And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft, almost the bottom of the hour here. Let's keep it moving with more of these top headlines. As you know, it's been a busy week already, but want to get this story on your radar. It's a fun one here. Back out live, though, to the White House. So this is what we know, according to Politico. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announcing expedited plans this week to build a nuclear reactor on the moon.
Did he say expedited plans? Very important word to listen to.
The first major action by the former Fox News host as the interim administrator of NASA. So, Fox News correspondent Mike Emanuel with more on all of this.
Interim NASA Administrator and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is expected to announce plans to put a nuclear reactor on the moon.
If we're going to be able to sustain life on the moon to then go to Mars, this technology is critically important.
Clear to proceed to Cat.
Experts say this is a 21st century space race with the United States rivals China and Russia. The first country to establish a nuclear reactor on the moon could block out others from setting up in the most desirable location.
Everyone's sort of headed to the lunar South Pole right now, where we think the most water ice is.
Liftoff. Air and Space Law Professor Michelle Hanlon says the U.S. must focus on this competition.
I don't think China is currently outpacing us, but I do think they can easily outpace us at this point. What we've seen from China is that they have a very steady pace in space, and they have the commitment to space.
The nuclear reactor on the moon is considered by experts a human exploration of space, something President Trump laid out in this.
Well, Magic Moon, I can tell you this much right now. If there's a nuclear explosion in space, it'll have absolutely zero impact on our environment.
This year's inaugural address.
We will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
It is expected that NASA will seek input from private industry over the next 2 months, with the expectation that China is seeking to put humans and a nuclear reactor on the moon in the next 5 years. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Mike, thanks so much. In the meantime here, let's bring into the conversation to talk about this story. Patrick McClure there of Space Nukes, he joins me. Patrick, thanks for being with us. A lot of people are talking about this. And I just have to ask this. So NASA has talked about this for quite some time, but what Duffy is doing is setting an actual timetable to get this going, why do we need a nuclear reactor on the moon?
So you need a nuclear reactor for several reasons. Mostly it's the way to keep your astronauts alive. It allows them to make oxygen, to make water. It will be very good for doing all kinds of science. And in many of the places where you would want to go on the moon, like where there may be ice, you're going to be in a deep crater where power is not going to be available from solar. So a nuclear reactor will be essential.
So imbued in this conversation, is the subtext, is this just part of the race to beat China in so many of these aspects here, you think?
Yeah, I think it does play a role. We are in a competition with China and Russia. We do want to be one of those nations that, goes to the stars and takes advantages of all the things the moon has to offer, not only including science, but potential resources that may be there to be extracted.
Watch what salt does to your body.
What's it
This
do to my
7-second
body?
artery flush could save your life.
Artery
Even top
flushing.
doctors are back.
What? So all I got to do is stick a broom down my
So
throat?
according to Politico here, the reactor directive orders the agency to solicit industry proposals for a 100 kilowatt nuclear reactor to launch by 2030. They say this is a key consideration for astronauts' return to the lunar surface.
Now, note that date, 2030. I did a report almost 3 years ago about England signing a contract with the division of Rolls-Royce reactor for delivery by 2030 to 2032, so they could use it as a reactor for a moon base as well. But these guys didn't mention England, so that's very interesting how the couple of years of differential changes reporting.
NASA previously funded research into a 40 kilowatt reactor for use on the moon, with plans to have a reactor ready for launch by the early 2030s. How would this all work? How do you pull this off? How do you even get it there? Or do you have to build it there?
Well, no, actually, it will be sent as a complete unit. The United States government has been looking at this for decades. So there are a lot of designs that have been proposed. And we think actual 2030 is a very doable date.
So, Patrick, I also have to ask this. I think for viewers coming to this story, when you think of a nuclear reactor, you think any energy reactor, it produces and provides energy for us to consume. We wouldn't be using this on the moon, right?
You wouldn't actually, it would be used to keep astronauts alive, but it could provide power to a lot of things. On the moon, most things are going to need heat to stay alive because of the extreme cold. We're going to have actual things there that actually are going to need a lot of power, like to turn ice into potential fuel, maybe to do some mining, maybe to run experiments. So a lot of things a reactor could do for us.
So I think you know more than most. NASA always kind of faces some of these budget cuts. Is NASA...
I see what they're skipping over. Man, this is like, they're giving you guys this stupid stuff. What they didn't tell you is they have 14 days of light on the side of the moon that we see, and then they have 14 days of night called the new moon and the full moon. The full moon's when full light is hitting half the moon. The new moon is when no light is hitting the moon, so it's not reflective. We don't see it. During those 14 days of no light, it gets down to it's like negative 300, 400 degrees on the moon until the light hits it again. Unless you got yourself a lot of wood in the forest to make yourself some coal or some wood fire, you're going to need nuclear to stay warm during half of every month of the year.
Up to the task. Are they going to have the funding to really see this through to this launch date, this aim of 2030? Do you think they have it in them?
Yeah, I think that's the great thing about what Administrator Duffy has done is he's made this a priority. If you look at where I think Congress wants to go with some budget items, I think this will be a priority, and I think that will help NASA achieve its goal.
You know, Patrick, before we let you go here, what other thoughts do you have about this project? This is going to take a while. Is the backing there? Obviously, it's there with the Trump administration, but for folks just coming to this story, what more do they need to know about it? Is it worth it? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, we believe this is a very good thing. It's anytime an administrator makes something like this a priority, it can be very good to help drive technology forward. So all in all, we see this as a very good sign and a very positive step by the administration.
All right, Patrick McClure there with Space Nukes. Patrick, thanks so much for your time. Talk soon.
Thank you for having me.
In the meantime here, wanted to get that story on your radar. Back out live there to the White House. Well, speaking of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, as you know, maybe you forgot, right now he is the interim administrator of NASA. Well, he did appear on the Fox News channel just tonight on the program.
Blah, 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 blah. Okay, we took 4% of the national budget to get to the moon. 4.4%. Oops, sorry about that. Printed the same thing. I'm trying to get you guys a percentage. Here we go. Hold on a second. Hold up, pup. Hold up, pup. Hold up, pup. $280 billion is what it costs in today's money to just get 4% of the budget. To let's see, what was I gonna do? Oh yeah. Let's see, I'm trying to get. Hold on a second here. Hold on a second here. It's called Follow the Money, people. It works in every scenario possible. So if you follow the money, it's going to take 4% of our GDP to get back to the moon, because that's what it cost in the 60s to get there. 4% of our GDP is $280 billion. Right now, NASA gets 10% of that, less than 10%. They get 8% of that. So if we're going to successfully go back to the moon, can you at least put some speculation here, say it'll cost no less than as much, 10 times less? I mean, that might be a physical factor for why we haven't gone back there, because there's not enough people out there that want to spend $280 billion to go back to the moon. But, you know, with Elon's new spaceship, you can probably knock that down to probably $80 billion. But still, they're going to have to increase NASA's budget by 300% to even get to $80 billion. So we're not really serious about going back to the moon, although everyone says, oh, we can go back to the moon, it's easy. Yeah, you know, throw $100 billion at it. We'll get there real fast. Oh, you don't want to? Yeah, then we're not going to get fast. And, well, that makes everyone right. We never went to the moon. You're right, because we never want to pay to go to the moon again. So we're never going to the moon. But if you want to pay for it, we can go there. But don't say we're not going to go there unless you're going to throw at least $100 billion at NASA to get us there. That's like saying, hey, go hop in your Lamborghini and run the store for me. Oh, I don't have a Lamborghini. I don't care. I gave you $5. Go buy a car. And I want it to be a Lamborghini. Oh, you're a failure because you couldn't get a car for $5 and that car being a Lamborghini. That's the scenario you're putting on NASA when you say, oh, they're not going to the moon. Yeah, you haven't given them the money to buy the Lamborghini to get there. That's how that works. What's up, Jeff? Mo, excuse me. You got to give them the money. Give them the. Don't give them the money. Yeah, We can talk shit all day long because nothing's going to happen. Now, this is cool as cuckoo birds, dudes. I love this new technology here.
AI smart glasses have rapidly transformed from niche gadgets into everyday essentials, merging cutting-edge technology with sleek design and real-world functionality. These futuristic wearables offer more than just hands-free calls and notifications. They provide real-time language translation, AR-powered navigation, facial recognition, health tracking, and
Facial
seamless
recognition
integration with
glasses?
the digital ecosystem.
Wow.
Whether you're a tech enthusiast, a remote worker, or simply curious about the future of augmented vision, this curated list of the top 15 best AI smart glasses for 2025 showcases the most intelligent models leading the wearable tech revolution. Viture Luma Ultra. Viture's Luma Ultra AI smart glasses deliver a premium AR experience at $599 USD, offering a vivid 12.
See, what I'm thinking of is when you talk to people and they tell you crap, people in authority, if you have these glasses, you can record them audio and visual. So that way later, if they say, I did say it, I got it recorded. Because I've had so many people at Union Hall and supposedly in authority say one thing behind closed doors to me, and then when they come out of the doors, it's told can't prove anything because it's just them and me. And because they're in authority, well, they're obviously the ones to believe. That's how it works. That's why I love these glasses, all 50.
4K light display on a simulated 152-inch virtual screen with 52-degree field of view and peak brightness of 1,250 nits. Built for spatial computing, they support full 6 degrees of freedom tracking across Mac, Windows, and the Pro neckband, feature dual grayscale depth cameras, plus a front RGB camera, and enable hand gesture controls via the Spacewalker app. Audio is powered by Harman Spatial Sound, and there's diopter adjustment up to -4.0 diopters, electrochromic film lenses for light blocking, plus customizable dynamic lighting effects and wear detection sensors.
These
The
things
sleek
are
Manny
bad.
translucent frame houses lightweight optics, while included accessories, nose pads, USB-C magnetic cable, case, cloth, round out the pro-grade package.
We, the people of the United
We've moved so
far away from the Constitution
Yeah.
that in many ways
We need to pack up and move back.
Even Reality's G1 The Even Reality's G1 AI smart glasses cost $599 US for the base model, and customizable prescription lenses add approximately $150, with optional sunglasses clips priced at $100. Housed in sleek rectangular or classic panto frames made of magnesium, titanium, and silicone, the glasses weigh only about 1.5 ounces with foldable screwless hinges and splash-resistant build. The integrated micro-LED display projects
Shit with
resolution
those
HUD
shades.
with 25-degree field of view, 20 Hz refresh rate, and 1000 nits brightness, adapting automatically to ambient light. Features include teleprompter, live translation, navigation, transcribe, dashboard alerts, and the Even AI assistant with voice activation over Bluetooth BLE 5.2. Battery offers about 1.5 days per charge, with wireless case recharging up to 2.5 times. Brilliant Labs Halo. The Brilliant Labs Halo AI smart glasses, priced at $299 US, are touted as the world's thinnest AI glasses, weighing just over 40 grams, and shipping starts globally in late November 2025 via pre-order from Brilliant Labs' official site. These glasses feature a 0.2-inch full-color micro OLED display that projects a retro arcade-style UI into your peripheral vision, with adjustable optics and fit for IPD. Between 58 to 70 smart frames come with dual bone conduction speakers, dual microphones, a low-power optical sensor, and a 6-axis IMU for gesture detection. Powering the AI is an on-device M55 CPU and
Rotary,
NPU,
huh?
enabling the NOAA AI and experimental vibe mode for voice-coded custom apps. With up to 14 hours battery life and open source Zephyr OS software supported via the Noah Companion app, Halo blends advanced of-device AI, memory augmentation, and a lightweight, everyday wear design. Sentinel XR gaming glasses.
Uh-oh.
The Sentinel XR gaming glasses are priced from $429 US. Each eye features a 0.68-inch Sony OLED display at 1080p resolution, 120 Hz refresh rate with 1 millisecond GTG smooth visuals. The glasses offer a 52-degree field of view, 100,000 to 1 contrast, and brightness
Yeah,
up
that's
to
going to put you out of work,
5,000
79.
with high-level output of approximately 600 nits. Electrochromic lenses block up to 99.7% of external light, with built-in side fins minimizing glare. Weighing under 80 grams, the design includes 0 to negative 5.0 diopter adjustment, adjustable nose pads and arms, passive thermal cooling in an aluminum speakers, and plug-and-play USB-C compatibility with devices like Steam Deck, iPhone, X-Real 1 Pro.
Yes, they
the
are.
X-Real 1 Pro Smart AR glasses retail for $649 USD on X-Real's official site. Freedom Spatial Tracking, driven by the proprietary X1 chip and Optic Engine 4.0 for smooth performance and ultra-low latency. Each eye houses a 0.55-inch Sony Micro OLED display, rendering 1080p resolution, 120 Hz refresh rate,
See
and
how
up
far
to
it sits off your
700 nits
face?
brightness, achieving about 600 perceived nits. The field of view spans 57 degrees, with electrochromic dimming to reduce external light reflection. 2V Rhineland, certified for flicker-free, low blue light, eye comfort, and full UV protection. The lenses also offer optional IPD adjustment and personalized color calibration. At just 87 grams, the glasses combine comfort with sound by Bose, compact aesthetics, prescription insert compatibility, and broad device support via USB-C, including iPhone, Android, Mac, PC, Steam Deck,
I haven't
and
got
Switch.
any text yet.
Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses, 2025 edition. The Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses, 2025 edition, start at $299 USD, mirroring the original Wayfarer-style design with no in-lens display. They come with dual 12-megapixel cameras,
I hear that.
built-in open-ear speakers, a microphone, touchpad controls on the temple arm, and seamless integration with the Meta AI Assistant via voice command. Hey Meta,
Yeah, those glasses sit more
powered by a
proper on your
Qualcomm
head.
Snapdragon AR1 Gen 1 processor, they support live translation, photo video capture, hands-free calls, and music streaming through the Meta AI ecosystem. The frame is IPX4 water resistant, comes with a branded charging case, and requires the Meta AI smartphone app to operate.
Hi, I'm Joe Delaney. Today we're going to talk about what's the fastest way to get to a 10% body fat and still look.
Oppo Air Glass 3. The Oppo Air Glass 3, revealed
They're
at
working on
MWC
it, bro.
2024, remains a prototype, so no official price or release date is available yet. It weighs just 50 grams, uses Oppo's own resin waveguides.
There's a university out there, 3 scientists were working with mice, or excuse me, 2 scientists were working with mice, blind mice, and they successfully did a little surgery, like a Neuralink implant type thing into their head or behind their eyes or something, and it returned vision to the mice. And the saying was that now kids can't sing that tune, 3 Blind Mice, because we've come up with the technology to have to make blind mice be able to easily be integrated to within a couple of years. We might be able to have blind people to where they can see. So there is good things about technology.
And achieves peak display brightness over 1000 nits per eye. Features include touchpad
Yeah,
control,
Pete.
access to Oppo's
That's why I
Android
said
GPT
3. I think it was 2
assistant via
scientists, but
paired
the 3
smartphone,
blind mice thing was stuck
reverse
in my
sound
head.
field speakers, an open acoustic frame design with 4 microphones, and support for music, voice calls, image browsing, and basic widgets. As a tethered device, it relies entirely on a connected Oppo phone, running
Oppo
ColorOS
phone.
13 plus offering immersive AR visuals in a sleek, lightweight frame. It presents a strong vision for future smart eyewear.
Now, it sounds like some of these glasses require a certain phone, which means you have integrated of the G that's built or the glasses working in a higher power or G5 type thing going on for computing power. It sounds like this one here and another one they were talking about, you needed to have two implements, the glasses and a certain phone.
Even though it isn't commercially available yet. Rokid wearable AI glasses. The Rokid glasses weigh just 49 grams, making them one of the world's lightest full-function AI smart glasses. Priced at approximately $20 deposit, unlocking a $100 discount toward a final US retail price on Rokid's official site. They feature a 12-megapixel point-of-view camera, capable of low-light HDR and 1680p60 frames per second video recording, plus hands-free AI voice control, Hi Rokid, using an integrated GPT-4/GPT-40 model. Visuals are delivered via a dual-eye monochrome micro-LED display, offering 1,500 nits peak brightness, 10-level dimming, and live real-time translation subtitles directly in the lens. Additional features include voice-to-text transcription with smart summaries, support for prescription and astigmatism lenses using clip-on modules, and dual high-fidelity speakers with
on
Bluetooth
glasses?
music playback.
Wow.
6 hours battery. A stylish, ultra-light smart assistant that blends immersion, translation, and wearable AI tech. Brilliant Labs Frame. The Brilliant Labs Frame, priced at $349 US, delivers a minimalist yet inventive around its conversational AI assistant, Noah. It features a micro-color OLED display embedded in the right
canine
lens,
stem cell
coupled with a single
therapy might
camera,
take care of
dual
that.
microphones, and support for text prompts. No built-in speaker. Audio output comes via paired mobile device. The hardware runs on a low-power processor with Neural Processing Unit, NPU, alongside Bluetooth connectivity, 14-hour battery life, and anti-reflective optical grade lenses, including optional prescription versions. The open-source software
that
allows
regeneration
developers
wouldn't
to
be blind.
extend capabilities using Lua and Zephyr OS. While Frame is sleek and developer-friendly, its reliance on credit-based Noah interactions and occasional connectivity issues may limit mainstream appeal. Viture Luma Pro. The Viture Luma Pro retails at
That one looks like it sticks
$499
outside your head a little
USD
bit.
and stands as the all-rounder in
It
Viture's
does.
Luma series, offering customization in 2 frame sizes: IPD, regular 60 plus or minus 6 millimeters for optimal fit. 52-inch virtual 4K light display at 120 Hz refresh rate, 1000 nits brightness, 52 degree field of view, and electrochromic lenses for light blocking and audio comes via Harman-tuned spatial stereo speakers, while comfort is enhanced by magnetic nosepads and adjustable temples. General specs include greater than or equal to 100,000 to 1 contrast, 108% sRGB colors, wear detection, 9-level brightness and volume controls, and lifetime firmware updates with 1-year warranty. Halliday AI glasses. The Halliday AI glasses retail for $499 US, including free prescription lenses and free shipping. They weigh just 28.5 grams, or 35 grams per some sources, offering exceptional all-day wearability and up to 12 hours of battery life. A hidden Digi-Window micro display discreetly beams information into the upper right of your field of vision, visible only to you and compliant with prescription glasses. AI features include real-time
glasses.
translation in 40 languages, live navigation,
Oh my God.
voice-to-text memos, teleprompter mode, proactive meeting summaries, and smart chat insights, all powered via Bluetooth-linked smartphone. Controls are via Temple touchpad, action button, or a smart ring that comes bundled.
Oh,
worth
see, you need 3
$69.
devices. The
A
ring, the
starter
phone,
plan
and the
with
glasses.
free usage and bonus credits is available,
Now you're turning
with
into
premium
fucking
credits
Iron Man.
purchasable in-app. Snap Spectacles 5th Generation. The Snap Spectacles 5th Generation are available through Snap's developer program, renting for $99 USD per month with a required 12-month commitment. Total cost approximately $1,188.
That's only for a
They
year.
weigh 226 grams, offer a 46-degree diagonal stereo display at 37 pixels per degree, powered by dual LCOS microprojectors and see-through waveguide optics with dynamic automatic tinting. The hardware includes 4 integrated cameras, a 6-mic array, stereo speakers, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth, and GPS, all running on Snap OS with dual Snapdragon SoCs and titanium vapor chamber cooling. Interactions are enabled.
Pete, the reason why at 57 my hair is still blonde is because of the sun.
Via hand tracking, voice control, and a 6-degree of freedom spatial engine with approximately 13 milliseconds motion-to-photon latency and 120 Hz reprojection. Battery life lasts up to 45 minutes on a full charge. Extended use via external power bank possible.
This is one of my favorite little gifts to give. It looks so simple and elegant, and I love how it has that vintage look.
Solos Ergo 3. The Solos Ergo 3 starts at 249 USD frames.
These are actually
like
some of
Argon
them are
7
reasonable.
or Argon 8. ZEISS Sunlens variants cost up to 299 frames with blue light blocking or Z-ICE photochromic options. It integrates Solos Chat, ChatGPT powered, and Solos Translate for real-time voice conversations and translations across multiple languages, all via the companion app. Controls include a Temple touch sensor and virtual side button. Premium Whisper audio technology powers stereo speakers and beamforming mics for clear calls and voice input. Additional features: IMU sensors support fitness tracking, steps, cadence, posture, while the smart hinge design allows frame swaps and USB-C charging. Lightweight and prescription friendly, the Ergo 3 makes AI wearable and accessible for daily use.
Thanks for stopping by,
X-Real
Pete.
Air 2 Ultra. The X-Real Air 2 Ultra is priced at $699 USD, offering the only true 6DoF spatial AR glasses on the market. Encased in lightweight 83-gram titanium, it features dual Sony 0.68-inch micro OLED displays, delivering 1080p per eye, a 120 Hz refresh rate, and a 52-degree field of view, with brightness of 500 nits and Delta E less than 3 color calibration certification by TUF Rhineland. 3-level electrochromic dimming enhances immersion while preserving visibility. It supports hand and head tracking, spatial anchors, depth mesh via the Nebula SDK, and connects via USB-C or with BeamPro, a full 6 degrees of freedom experience. Rich directional audio and built-in mics complete the spatial computing package. These sleek glasses merge premium design with professional-grade AR functionality.
Commercial, since you're not here to watch it, Pete. Oh no, that's the end of it. Damn, that was so good. I wanted more of it. Those are so cool, those glasses. But I got something else that's going to blow you away. It goes with a lot of the military marine tactics that I've been bringing to you over the past year and a half, how they're doing looking at, they've actually already broken apart 3 battalions and created one new one. They got this new artillery round that's like a rocket. I mean, there's a lot of things, changing up their attacks, sequencings using robotic units and stuff. Well, this right here is another part of that whole operational front that the Marines are coming up with. This is the military stuff 101.
Is about to start shooting explosive computers at people. There's a new arms race happening right now, and it's not drones or some fancy power armor. This is something way cooler and way more terrifying. It's grenade launchers that fire smart ammunition, basically turning every grunt into a walking artillery piece. I'm going to break down exactly why the Pentagon is so obsessed with these exploding sniper rifles, how they actually work, and why China is already fielding their own version while the US is still 3D printing prototypes. But first, let me show you just how game-changing these things really are. because what I'm about to tell you is going to make you understand why every military on the planet is racing to get their hands on this technology.
So do I, Mo.
Remember those chunky grenade launchers you see strapped to rifles in movies?
That's an M79.
Those are about to become as obsolete as muskets. Picture this. You're a 19-year-old.
I was actually an expert in the M79. Or it's actually M203. It's M79 grenade launcher attached to an M16 on the undercarriage of an M16. It's called M203. At least they call them now.
Soldier in some godforsaken desert, and you're carrying an M4 with an M203 grenade launcher attached underneath. That thing is front heavy as hell, throws off your aim, and good luck getting into any kind of decent shooting position when you're trying to take cover. Plus, firing that thing is like playing mortar operator.
Speaking of mortars, let's launch this dude out of a bicycle.
You're lobbing grenades in an arc, hoping they land somewhere near the bad guys. The US Army looked at this problem and said, what if we just made it a completely separate weapon? Meet the Precision Grenadier System. Basically a grenade rifle that fires flat trajectories like a sniper rifle, but with explosive ammo. The reason this matters is accuracy and speed. Instead of hoping your grenade lands in the right zip code, you're now point and shoot with explosive ammunition. It's the difference between throwing a baseball and shooting a bullet. These are basically flying computers. Barrett and FN Herstal are both competing for this contract, and they're showing off these prototype weapons that look like something out of a sci-fi movie.
That's why I like
Barrett's SSRS, their squad support rifle system, can fire 8 different types of 30mm rounds. We're talking high explosive, incendiary, smoke, armor-piercing, and a 30mm shotgun that's basically designed to recreate your favorite video game moments in real life. But the real magic is in the programmable ammunition. These rounds have built-in computers that can be programmed to explode at specific distances. See someone hiding behind a wall? Program your round to explode right above their head. Enemy taking cover in a trench? Air burst round, problem solved. While the US still playing around with 3D printed prototypes, China has already deployed their own version in actual combat. Meet the QLU-11, China's grenade sniper rifle that's been in service since 2011. This thing is a beast. It fires 35mm rounds out to 1,100 meters. That's twice the range of what the US prototypes can do. But here's the catch. It weighs 28 pounds without ammunition. This isn't something you sling over your shoulder and run around with. It's a crew-served weapon that needs a bipod or tripod to fire effectively. The Chinese designed this for very specific scenarios. Think about where China expects to fight. The mountains along the Indian border where you can see your enemy for an hour before you're in range, or the beaches of Taiwan with all those bunkers and defensive positions. For those situations, having a weapon that can reach out and touch someone at over 1 kilometer with explosive rounds makes perfect sense. China's already using these in combat against pirates and insurgents, while the US versions are still in the prototype phase. Sometimes being second to market means you get to learn from everyone else's mistake.
Indeed, because we have the mortar round. Everyone else in the world's mortar rounds, longest range they have is 45 kilometers. And we have a mortar round we just developed 2 years ago and gave to the Marines that goes 77 kilometers. And it can fly back on itself, which means you can fire it towards a mountain face and hit the other side of the mountain face with pinpoint accuracy. So we're way ahead of them in other ways. So before they even get to within 1 kilometer of us, we'll have had like 700 shots to blow them up.
But sometimes it just means you're behind. The war in Ukraine has completely changed how the Pentagon thinks about these weapons, and it's not for the reason you might expect. Originally, these precision grenade systems were designed for counterinsurgency operations. Think Afghanistan, where you need to take out specific targets without leveling an entire building.
That's a mortar
But
round.
Ukraine showed us something different. Modern warfare is increasingly about drone swarms, and traditional anti-aircraft systems are way too expensive to use against $500 drones. So the US military had a light bulb moment. What if we could program these smart rounds to detect drones and explode when they get close? Suddenly, every soldier becomes a mobile anti-aircraft system. Instead of needing expensive Patriot missiles to take out drones, you've got infantry with smart ammunition that can detect and destroy aerial targets. This is why the Army specifically requires these systems to engage targets as close as 35 meters. They're not just thinking about bunkers and trenches anymore. They're thinking about drone swarms buzzing overhead. But the real reason the Pentagon is obsessed with these weapons has nothing to do with technology. It's about changing how war is fought. The US military is built around maneuver warfare. Basically, move fast, hit hard, and don't get bogged down waiting for support. But what happens when your squad runs into a bunker or an armored vehicle? Traditionally, you'd have to call for air support, artillery, or bring up heavy weapons teams. That takes time, coordination, and it slows down your advance. With a precision grenade system, suddenly every squad has organic fire support. See a bunker? Handle it yourself. Lightly armored vehicle? Not a problem. Enemy position behind cover? Air burst round sorts that out. You don't need to wait for anyone else to catch up or move into position. It's the difference between combined arms coordination and self-contained lethality. Here's something that might surprise you. There's actually an international law from 1868 that technically makes these weapons illegal. The St. Petersburg Declaration banned explosive rounds under 400 grams, which was the smallest artillery shell when it was written. The idea was to prevent unnecessarily cruel weapons. Now, this law gets ignored more often than speed limits on the highway, but it occasionally pops up in legal journals when lawyers get bored. The US learned this lesson the hard way with the XM-25 program, their previous attempt at smart grenade launchers. They had to carefully engineer their rounds to comply with international law while still being effective. It's like threading a legal needle while someone's shooting at you.
Hey, if you conceal carry and you want to do so comfortably, you're probably going to be interested in this, the brand new Nimbus Gray Vanish holster.
Nimbus.
This is why the current systems use 30mm rounds instead of smaller ones. They're just heavy enough to avoid the legal issues that killed previous programs, but small enough to fire in flat trajectories without needing mortar-like arcs. Before you get too excited about these Warhammer 40K weapons, let me bring you back to Earth with some harsh reality. Barrett's SSRS is basically a mock-up right now. There's no bolt visible, no way to drop the magazine, and other than a charging handle and safety, there's not much else to see. It's basically a very extensive proof of concept that weighs about as much as an M249 saw, but without the bipod that catches on everything. The ammunition is going to be heavy and expensive. Each round is basically a miniature computer with explosive capabilities. We're not talking about mass-produced rifle rounds here. These are precision munitions that cost more than most people's monthly grocery bill. The reality is that we're probably still years away from seeing these deployed in meaningful numbers. The technology is impressive, but turning impressive technology into battlefield-ready weapon systems is a whole different challenge.
What y'all think about that? Rather interesting, huh? They've had those in shotgun shells for a couple of years. I was wondering what happened. There was that law, 1800s law that, as I was watching the development of these in the military, then all of a sudden everything got cut. I was like, what? It didn't get cut for shotguns. Again, another reason why I like shotgun shells, because the ammunition available for people with using shotguns is better than any other than range. You know, you can't go that far with a shotgun shell, but you have a programmable bullet that goes through the window, then kind of does a grenade thing. You don't need to be accurate, and you don't need as many rounds to get the job done. Great for urban warfare scenario. It's, people talking about, we're going to get attacked by the Chinese, they're taking us over, whatever. Well, most of your combat's going to be urban combat. An urban combat environment, you want a shotgun. Everyone knows that, and they've developed shotguns that are off the hook. Let me see if I can Google one real quick here. Hold on a second here. Yeah, there are. Had to chase the cat off there because they were getting on my freaking nerves with their yapping. Let's see. I know they have this thing called the Dragon. It's kind of bad booty. It shoots out a stream of fire as a shotgun shell. I can't find it right off the bat. Let's see here. Programmable munitions. You guys seeing that? Let me see. Yeah, you're seeing that. That's a shotgun shell. Evolved for the modern era. That's the tip of it. The range, when it explodes. The advent of cheap, miniaturized electronics have allowed munitions to be rapidly programmed in the breech while being loaded or being fired. Sorry, same damn cat. And that's what the shells look like and how they're built. And you can get them to go like through a window, a sheetrocked wall, not inside a house, sheetrocked wall, go to the other side. You know, it can sense when it penetrates into another room, just like the artillery shells, and then it just explodes. Dragon's Breath. Thank you very much. That's what it's called. Dragon's Breath. Yeah, those, they're like flamethrowers, man. They're pretty bad. But you can load up a shotgun like 6, 7 shells. Do like the first one, Dragon's Breath. So that way you just throw it around the corner. You know, don't put it ahead or anything out. Just fucking the tip of the barrel as much as you need to. Don't expose too many of your hands. Pull the first trigger. You got yourself a flamethrower that shoots like 30 yards. Freaks everyone out. Then you turn the corner because you know everyone's not looking to pull the trigger if fire's coming their way. It gives you about a quarter second to a half second to take advantage and make the moves you need to make to survive. And then the other shell have programmable, one going through the doorway or whatever, and then a couple air bursts in between you and the doorway. Then you run, reload, boom, 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 boom. You got head on a swivel, keep rolling, take everyone out. You freak people out when you advance like that. And you'll find during scenarios where there's to be violence, having someone taken off of their game is best for your game. And a way to do that is to advance. Yeah, you can get all kinds of things, Mo. It's one of the most versatile weapons out there is the shotgun, and it's for urban use too. I mean, it's perfect. Everyone's like, oh, bug out here, bug, 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 and they got all these long range rifles. But hey, check this out. If you're running in between buildings, long range rifle doesn't do that much good for you. I would be concerned about overheating the concrete on the driveway, Jeffro, and possibly cracking it, because if you heat up ice, it turns to steam, and that expands and leads to cracking. If it starts to expand, if the ice has gotten or the humidity's gotten inside the concrete, and you heat it up, it'll cause your concrete to kind of shatter and explode like a shotgun shell almost. You guys ever had concrete explode on you from heat? It's not the kind of shrapnel you want to eat. Have you ever had concrete exposed because of heat? It's not the kind of concrete you want to eat. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. I got all the cats tiptoeing around now because they pissed me off because they were meowing. But anyhow, I brought you the news I wanted to bring you. Let's see, do I have it? Well, let's see what this one's about. Nope. Not that one. Grow fruit trees faster with a multi-year hole. Now, we're not going to bring you any gardening tips today. We'll save those for another day. Wow. 34-year-old concrete. You know, they got this new stuff. It's a biocrete. You stick in concrete. I'm sure it's expensive. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's. Well, I haven't checked. So last time I checked on it was like 3 years ago, and they were doing testing on it, and it was like a 15-year test. I don't know at what extent, how long the test had gone when I first found out about it. But biocrete, they stick inside concrete, the little nodules, little pellet-like things, and they stick it in the concrete when they mix it. And then you apply the concrete to make a wall or whatever. And if that wall cracks and humidity, the water and oxygen hit that biocrete that's mixed in with the concrete, over time it turns it into limestone, making it stronger than the concrete. So the crack fills with limestone. And they're doing a 15-year experiment. They did like this 15-foot tall S in concrete because it has a lot of overhang, and they wanted to see what would happen with cracks and stuff like that. Oh, I imagine you've done a lot of sealer, buddy. If it's 35-year-old, yeah. What you need to do is need to make some good investments, get some good turnaround, make some great profit, tear it out, put in new stuff. I do not give financial advice, but if you're into crypto, that would be one to look at. Or follow Ninja. He's got a lot of good ones to look at. Another great one to look at in stock market is that one there. I've talked about this one here. And those boys, let me tell you, those boys at Okaloa boys, the Okaloa boys are going nutsies. Let's see. Surge. Okay, here's the surge. They got surged. What is their stock? Ah, heck. Let me just go to the freaking stock chart. Screw this. Yeah, they're going crazy ever since I started telling you guys about them. Actually, probably should have bought them. But I said, watch out for them, and that might have been my bad. Maybe I should have given you good advice instead of hold off advice. But never will I give financial advice because I am not a financial individual. But having said that, let me get my little pizza ass out of the way. You see that chart? That's OKLO. From, I don't know, let's say January 2024. It was $10. Holla. It was $10 holla. It's almost $80 now. That's like, hold on, how long ago was that? Let's go. Okay, December, still around $10. So that's a year and 8 months. It's gone up almost 700%. I started talking about it. When was it? Somewhere around here. Somewhere in this area here, I started telling you guys about it. I don't recall. March, April, I started mentioning it. And then it ran up, and I was like, man, I don't know. And then it came back down, and I quit talking about it. And it's just gone up, came down, gone up. That son bitch going crazy. It's like it's on freaking go-go juice. There's going to be some good ones, Jeff. It has not yet begun. Just keep your eye on The economic ninja. The economic ninja. And he will not lead you astray. Of course, you cannot miss a couple of his shows and say, you told us. It's not like that. Was it about 34? Yeah, it was around there. I knew it was somewhere around that area. And I thought it was too high then to get into. Boy, was I wrong, huh? See, I can be wrong too. I was not wrong in the right direction, though. It didn't go down. It went hella up. But the one I did say something about, and I'm sticking to my guns on this one. And this is some good advice for a long-term hold. In my personal opinionated bootay self says, is nanonuclear. Man, these guys are rocking the Casbar. They're only going to get better. They started out May 10th at about 450. They're at 36 now. What's that? May 10th. They're looking at a year, 5 months. They've gone up 800, 700, 18%, it says here. All time, 718% in like 16, 17 months. And that's nothing. This is still, in my personal opinion, if I get a job, when I get a job, dude, I'm gonna buy some stuff because their future is so bright. I'm gonna have to buy some of those shades that we were looking at, those EV shades, or what are they? Those computer shades. Because this stock here, in my personal opinions, my feelings, and everything else tells me, by the way they've structured their company and their subsidiaries, and they've branched out so much, and that's why they're not growing. This part of their company's not growing in stock price. They're growing 5 other divisions of this company, and when they all start get going, they're all going to push this price, and it's going to push. It's going to They're going to far surpass OKLO in my feelings, opinions, and good advice, not financial advice. Because I don't give financial advice. I talk about pizza. You got that right. Yeah, so OKL, it's about doubled since I first mentioned it. I'm glad you're keeping up with that, Jennifer. I don't keep up with that. I know I mean, I know I don't lie, cheat, or steal, you know. I know when I say things approximately. I mean, it's good advice when I give it. It's not, oh yeah, I told you about it when it was 34, and I actually told you about it around 60 or something. You know, I don't do that kind of crap. So I don't have to keep up with exacts because I don't lie and it's all recorded. You know what I'm saying? It eases my mind that way. I don't have to. There's so much you don't have to worry about if you don't lie. Well, I gave away 5 ounces of platinum, and Gerald gave away 100,000 ZBEC. Other than that, Pete, you missed nothing. It sounds like 79 took over Gerald's fucking crown. That's right. I told him I wasn't going to give him out the platinum until I built the net to capture the platinum from the explosion of Betelgeuse. Because we all know from watching my show that supernovas create tens of thousands of tons of platinum and gold, but more platinum. So as soon as we see the light of Betelgeuse, if you have a big net that can capture microscopic platinum, you can capture some platinum. And you won't be able to do that again until another supernova event happens that we can see. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Actually, there's a Russian oligarch that after Oumuamua, I think 2021 flew by, he actually started getting together a rocket with a special kind of space net that he was going to shoot out and run the space net through the tail links of Oumuamua to see what type of event Oumuamua was, a rock, a ship, whatever. So, and I haven't heard anything beyond that, and that was back in 2021. I'm sure it's launched and got its information and come back, because we've already gone around the sun a couple times since then. I think 3 times, so almost 4. So that's given them plenty of options to launch. You know what I'm talking about? Time for pizza and beer. Indeed. I actually already ate a pizza. There's this Italian salami. It lasts like, 2,000 years, and it's still fresh. It's got this like wax coating paper and some wax coated rope around me. It's old school shit. I break it out, cut off a couple pieces, and cut them into like 16th inch little squares, and add it to these little personal pan pizzas, not pan, but personal pizzas, small little 6 inchers, and add it to it when I cook them. Boy, howdy. Boy, howdy. Oh, nice. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to end of October. Oh my God, there's some beautiful freaking sticks growing in my yard. They're going to be nice. Yeah, he's trying to get some publicity going on other people's show, talking about stuff that people aren't going to listen to on his own show about. No, he stayed off those topics. He talked about what he knew about, which was not much other than a couple of smaller metals, lower market cap metals. Pseudoscience. Tell me about it, bro. I just ate some pizza, bro. Yeah, that pizza could use some beef and some Canadian bacon and some salami and some more sauce, and then it'd be awesome. But yeah, I'd eat it right now because that obviously is good enough. But anyhow, I just wanted to bring you all that cool different topics of news you needed to know. Mostly of what I was more excited about is the validation of small and micro reactors being launched to put on the moon for a moon base, for which I've been talking about for quite some time. And I even mentioned that England, the government of England, signed a contract with Canadian Bacon. You got that right, Mo. Signed a contract with a division of Rolls-Royce to build them a small modular reactor. And this was like 3 years ago, to be delivered by between 2030 and 2032. So America's going to be and micro reactors will get quick approvals like never in our history. And that's exactly what happened. And that's why if you stayed with me and you stayed with me on my nuclear trip, you could have clearly seen the plays that I've mentioned in different stocks, because it's been written in stone for a couple of years. Oh yeah, pastrami, you know that's right, brother. Pastrami. And yes, as far as getting your bags together, do your own research. There's a few awesome stocks. There's a few awesome crypto, and there's a few awesome precious metals that are all going to do pretty damn awesome. And if you take and get like 8 investments, 3 in some decent crypto, 3 in some different stocks, and 3 in 3 different precious metals, you should be sitting pretty in about a year or two. But diversification, don't be a like on that show that Ian was on with what's his name and all those guys talking about osmium's a hoax or something like that. Don't be a maximalist. You miss I'm not saying it's not good. I mean, you know, whatever you want to do is good for you. That's good. But you miss other opportunities that could be better than what you're a maximalist on. That's the reasoning behind me not liking the maximalist point of view. You can get too focused and lose other opportunity. I mean, I'm already looking to where and what's going to happen when Clean Air Metals mines out the platinum they have in Canada. Where's the platinum coming from? Because the mines in South Africa aren't getting new platinum deposited, and the mine in Canada it's pretty surface topical stuff comparatively. 650 meters is the max depth because it's running laterally high grade or higher than South Africa's ore grade. So they're going to be producing a lot of ore, high grade valued ore very fast. And then it's going to be gone in like 3 to 5 years. So where's the next one coming from? And I'm already looking for that. And I'm thinking it's going to be around in Colombia down along the Darien Gap because geopolitically, that kind of cover works perfect for deposit area is the Darien Gap in Colombia, southern Colombia. Thank you, Pete. Yeah, I'm trying to be ahead as I have been, and I've done videos on when I get alerts from the World Platinum Council. I try and bring them to y'all, and as I'm bringing them to y'all, I'm like, yeah, I told you this 6 months ago. So they're behind me too, and I'm even trying to get further ahead of them by finding out where the next big strike of platinum is going to be, and it's going to be a geopolitical move where the Americas can capitalize over the BRICS nations. Not only that, South Africa's they're out. They're it's like that sheepdog in that cartoon that protected the sheep from coyotes. Well, South Africa's clocking out, man. They got a couple of years and they're done. They have no more platinum. They'll be done. So where's it coming from? I keep talking about all this technology, these engines that are coming out, all this technology, how platinum's very hard to find and very much needed. So where's the platinum coming from? You know, where is it coming? Congratulations, Pete. Where's the platinum going to come from? And I keep going back to the historic conquistadors melting down gold and silver. We all know the story, man. The Elucia and all these great voyages of these treasure ships that sunk during hurricanes. Well, all that treasure came from one spot where the conquistadors smelted all the Inca and Aztecian gold and silver down. And they all melted it down into ingots, big bars that they could take back to Spain or Portugal, whichever. The pirates would hit them along the way, and we hear about all this treasure. But if you research this, those conquistadors back in that time period, the BRICS came across substance they'd never seen before, and it wouldn't melt, but it looked like silver. So their projection was that it was gold that hadn't fully matured yet, and they threw it aside and they gave it a name, called it platina. Now, a couple things crossed my brain when I read that story. First off, they came across so much of it. So much of it. Conquistadors in Central America came across so much of this silvery substance. Now, it's not the ore. It's not the ore, baby. The ore does not look like platinum. It takes like a ton of ore, 2 tons, 3 tons, 10 tons of ore to get an ounce of platinum. So where did these conquistadors get this finished product that they couldn't smelt down. And they were in Central America, and there's been no find of platinum in Central America. That is down there. Because if I had $1 billion 50 years ago, I would have set up a drug cartel there if I found out that that's where the platinum was, because I'd have looked for it 50 years ago when I was a billionaire. So I'm sure someone figured out that there was some shit there. They just didn't need to take advantage of it because it wasn't time to take advantage of it. So they figured they'd take advantage of the property some other way until it was time to take care of the minerals on that property. And that's how I see that going, because those drug cartels ain't always been around. They got formed for a reason. They're being allowed to stay around for a reason. It is being allowed, keyword, for a reason. Say that again, Pete. I heard there was 31 billion years that died this year. Well, you know, here's some good news, and I actually don't have a report. I don't have video on this or anything. That new telescope actually saw here. Hold on, wait for it. Drum roll. Before the Big Bang, which means the Big Bang is a lie, which means there's only one theory of everything, and that is creationism. There is a God, and that telescope just proved it, because the only other strong theory of any kind of creation was the Darwinism progression from a Big Bang. Well, that telescope just saw past the Big Bang to galaxies that were 36 or 26 billion years old, which is like 12 billion years older than the Big Bang. So, all the people who didn't believe that creationism was of God. What's up, Mike? No, Jeffrey Bodine. You gotta have some serious infrastructure to do that kind of mining. And if you look at Thunder Bay, theirs is, like I said, is a more surface of a vein, and it's they're going down open pit mining. About 450 yards, and then they're going to different lateral than vertical. So down in Colombia area, it would either be done that way, or it'd be a hard rock mining scenario like in South Africa, which means you would have shitloads of tailings, which means as soon as you dug down 500 yards, the shafts that you need in your secondary shafts, your air shafts, or all this other shit, you'd have a half a mountain of tailings, and you could easily be seen from satellite, and that's not been seen yet. So unless they're going through the effort of making sure that there's no roads detected by seismic activity monitors that are in that area, because there's a volcano down there. And, you know, there's too many things in place already that's not been alerted to anyone doing any kind of hard rock mining down in that area. And other side of the coin, there's no evidence that they're not hard rock mining, other than there is no big tailings pile or visible road system to bring in the equipment. That doesn't mean it couldn't be brought in. That doesn't mean they can't be mining. People are very inventive, especially the drug cartels. So you can't discount anything. Could be that they are mining it. Or Jethro, since the damn conquistadors found so much of it, they threw it off the side. Maybe they found a big old pile of this shit. Someone's got to find it. I'd love to go on an expedition down there and find that pile of crap. That would be awesome. Hey, is this where the conquistadors melted down all the gold and silver and threw the platinum away? Because that looks like about a 1 yard tall rock of platinum, and it's got my name written all over it. Jeffro, I am not insulted. All right, Mike. Hey, I tell you what. If you come back, I will not mention that Florida is progressive dollar and building your ferries. But if you don't come back, we're going to talk about it. Simulation theory, says pseudoscience. It's got validity. Is it the right one? Is it the only one? No to both of those. Is it part of the right answer? Yes. I like Chris Langan, man. Chris Langan's more inclusive of that are all the theories that are out there are exclusive of any other possibility other than their own theory that's presented. And it's never been like that. It's always been a combination, gives you the whole picture. So it only makes sense that if you can find a way to combine a majority of those theories and still come up with a feasible outcome that's relative to all the individual theories, when you combine them, it makes more sense that that's the outcome. And that's the Chris Langan thought process. And he actually does a real good job of explaining it. It confuses me. I don't really understand when he's talking about it, but it makes sense, the parts that I do understand, which is about 10%. But I would consider watching CTMU or something like that, a theory of everything. People are starting to talk about it more and more now. It's Chris Langan. And you can say you heard it first here from Neil San Dynasty, because I've been talking about that mofo for about 6 months as soon as I found out about him. I spent about a half hour researching him and said, oh, I need this guy's to understand. But he's on the right track. And that's worked in my ironworking career, kept me alive. So I figure what the hell, it'll work in an intellectual career as well. And they do say scientifically the gut has this more synapses receptors and brain and synapses pathway than the brain does. So it's actually considered, your stomach is actually considered your second brain. So following your gut's actually following your second brain, if you look at it from that perspective. Yeah, there's a lot of I don't knows out there, science. I mean, I like the thought, and I'm more inclusive of theories when it comes to scientific theories than exclusive, because that's the principle of science, is understanding, not excluding. So I can't exclude any scientific theory or principles until they are proven not to be right, or proven by peer review to be replicatable, proving that they are at this time in history with our knowledge of physics, math, and other things, proven to be right by our measure of knowledge at this point of time, which always changes. I've been saying for a while, we need a new addition to our math. We need to expand our math. We need to look at physics a little differently if we're going to get past light speed, because we need to start looking at theoretically going past light speed so we can actually build something that might get us up to light speed. And we've been delayed by 50 years. I agree with Eric Weinstein and those guys on that one. For the past 50 years, physics has been hijacked with stupid bullshit theories that have gotten no practical application. And for 50 years, we've done nothing. Or if they hadn't been so exclusive, a boys club or whatever you want to call it in physics, we might have actually gained some greater science knowledge and come up with newer technologies and been further along down the technological road than we are right now. I still want those little microbes. I think 2 days ago I did a report on. They eat like heavy metals and poop out 24 karat gold. I want about 1 trillion of those motherfuckers in a bucket, and I'll just start throwing computers in there and let them eat it and poop me out 24 karat gold. After a couple of years, I should have about an ounce. Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, I try to stay open-minded about science because you have to be, and math. I mean, not saying that math is improper or incorrect now. What I am saying is I remember when I was in first grade, I learned a different type of math than when I was in 10th grade. And what I mean by that is, even though we think we know everything as adults right now, I'm thinking we're only about third grade level of actual math when you look at it from a galactic or universal math and physics principles that we don't even conceive of yet, that's going on that we can't understand. So we need more of an advanced math, which doesn't make any of the math wrong that we know now. It's just going from addition, subtraction, multiplication, division to, pre-algebra. Just learning a little bit more of math after we've conceived and developed principles based off the math as we understand it now. We can advance that math to the next step, and we get new principles of understanding, which might bring us warp drives, might bring us faster than light speed travel, and all this other crap. I mean, find out that, oh, by the way, if we just add this chemical to this stuff, it does this. Oh, cool. Wow. I wish I'd known that 500 years ago. You got to advance in your maths understandings and your physics and your sciences. It's like a playbook, man. The world goes through from kindergarten to preschool all the way up to postgraduate. And we're at about the third grade level of understanding. You guys talking local pizza joints. I don't know anything. I don't like the cold. I don't like the cold. You might not have sent it to the right address, Salty, or the right phone number. No, I have not got it. Might want to check the number. Make sure you're sending it to the right person. I think what Chicago needs is the biggest bucket in the world with 10% Clorox solution dumped on it to where it can clean all the filth and disgust from the political, the financial, the whole corrupt system that you got there, and just wipe a clean slate, get rid of everybody, and start electing people based off of merit and not DEI, basically. Well, that's the way it works. You have a crappy leader, then they give you a worse leader, and you wish for the crappy leader back because of the two choices. The first guy that fucked you was better than the second guy that fucked you, but you're still getting fucked. Who wins? The people that gave you those choices. That's why Timothy O'Leary, when he invented LSD, did that saying, was it tune in, drop out, and then something else or something like that. I never could remember that saying. Yes, it's way too deep. I've mentioned that, Gerald. I believe it was the 118th Congress. 51 or 52 Democrat congressional persons voted yes to abolish the Constitution of the United States of America. Last I checked, when you got sworn in to be a congressman, senator, or even president, or, well, any department, you took an oath of office swearing to uphold the Constitution. So, just by mere definition, going against your oath of office, if it's not being a traitor or committing treason, you should no less at least be instantly removed from office for not upholding your oath. But yet, it seems like I'm the only one talking about it. And of course, the doctors not following their oath either. But of course, those are Obama era doctors that really no one talks about either. By the way, Obamacare, what Obamacare did was a lot of different things. One of those things was there's a school down in the Falkland Islands called the Falkland School of Medicine. It was never allowed to have doctors countries because they just weren't up to standard. They just weren't. under Obamacare, they changed the rules and allowed every doctor that ever graduated from Falkland School of Medicine to become doctors if they administered Obamacare. So all those doctors were beholden to Obamacare and not to the oath of office. So Obamacare is supposed to be getting rolled back. Also, shit. I don't know if there's an investment opportunity here, but a lot of doctors are going to go away because once Obamacare is rolled back, a lot of doctors that were allowed to be doctors that were unqualified before Obamacare will be unqualified to be doctors and therefore not doctors again here in America. In case you bad, that's another reason why no one talks about. I hope that was information you guys didn't already know, because I like informing people. Also, you can't sue doctors under Obamacare for malpractice. Gerald, all they need is an energy device that as you speak, it picks up the vibrations from the sound and turns it to energy, and I'll be able to power half the West Coast just by my talking. It's not a matter of the free energy. It's a matter of how we capture, convert, and use, and the principles that we follow to achieve that. And all of those are corrupt. So we got bigger problems. No, we don't need to advocate for that type of stuff. That's ungodly. Keep doing it the right way until there's an evident sign beyond that of personal feelings of things that tells you it's time. And that should be plain and clear to most people, especially if you read documents like The Theory of Stupidity by Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and you become aware of what to look for instead of not aware to look for, just think, that this is going to happen because of this. If you become aware of how they mass manipulate people, then you cannot be mass manipulated and also tell other people and make them aware. So it only takes 3%, people. Revolutionary War, 3%. A lot of only 3%ers. So you just got to have the right 3%, and the rest of the dummies, we just got to drag along. But you can always lead a horse to water. You can't make him drink, but you damn sure got to bring him along with the flock. Maybe, Jethro, if my lightning principles work out in my favor and my behalf, and my safety precautions work out the same, I might be a Neil Tesla, huh? Yeah. Oh, there we go. That way my initials would be that'd be one letter off math. And the thing is, they got history on their side to look at to how to get away with it. And they also know how to get the agitators before it gets to that point. And that's where you got to be careful. And that's where you do have to be more careful, actually, but you can do it better if you have money. Because if you had enough money, $15 million, yeah, it sounds like a lot, it really isn't. Launch your own damn satellite. Now, what do you actually have? Wasted $15 million? Or your own personal, unaltered communication device and information gatherer that's unsolicited by others? In other words, you get facts. You transmit facts. Wow. What a novel concept. I wonder how many people would pay for something like that. Free enterprise being what it is, I already know the laws of space. Anyone can throw up satellites just doing it. If our country doesn't give you approval, there's 186 others out there. One of them will. The only thing stopping you from being a baller is you not being a baller. The pathway's out there. Just doing it's a problem. But yeah, just, keep positivity going. Keep learning. Listen to God when he talks to you. He talks to us all differently because we're all different. And keep learning. Learn old school shit. Learn how to fix a refrigerator. Learn how to, do just commonsensical shit. You never know how valuable that basic knowledge. No, I'm not saying open up a company. Just in your spare time, read a book, watch YouTube. Learn a little bit about stuff that can help you around your house. Technical kind of shit. How to do simple type shit on your own. What is that? AC unit or HVAC ducts, or a little bit of a open face wiring where you don't have to pull it through the sheetrock or the studs. Just a little bit of plumbing. Learn. Those skills are going to be valuable. If no one else, it saves you from paying someone else to do it. Yeah, keep mechanical. That part of your brain, keeping that active it's very important for critical thinking. And that's the more important part, but not that you want to increase your critical thinking. You want to actually make money or save money by doing it and by learning how to do stuff yourself, simpler stuff that you don't have to call a plumber on, and you just do it yourself because you learned how to do it yourself, and then have some professional just come in and check your work. So that way you're only paying them for an hour, not for 8 hours. And they can check your work, say, yeah, no, that's good. It builds up your confidence. You know what the hell you're doing. You saved yourself some money. You got yourself some new infrastructure inside your house, inside of your lawn, or, at your work or whatever. Open your mind, Cohagen. Open your mind. Dude, all it takes is money, man. You know how many countries launch satellites and launch rockets from their territories? That's not talked about on the news. Hold on, let's Google this. I don't even know this answer. I know it's a lot, more than people would expect. How many countries launch to space from their countries? Kind of limited on the question asking. I'm going to knock out a couple, but I'd rather be low than high. Currently, there are 11 countries with capability to launch rockets into space from their own territory. United States. Oh, let me just give a list from them here. Let me write it down here. It's typing music, sorry. So, there's the list. Now, if you have a lot of money, you could go to countries like in the Sahel region of Burkina Faso or Mali or Niger, and talk to them about building infrastructure for space technology and rocket launch technology. They're at perfect, not perfect, but they're damn close to a good area of the world for launching as far as latitude, and invest in that countries or those countries, and then you become an integral part of their space industry. So you get to throw satellites up there. It takes a little longer, but there's a pathway for it to happen. That country's growing. Eventually, they're going to need a space peoples and infrastructure, and they're going to need. That's probably why I did a report where Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore was saying they need to make a couple billionaires. Well, geez, and I said, what do you use billionaires for? Think about Elon Musk. What do you use billionaires for? Why would countries create billionaires, and what do they use them for? Well, Elon Musk got his money from the government through subsidies, and what did they use him for? Okay, think of that and put the principle of Burkina Faso and Ibrahim Traore wanting to make a few billionaires, and what's he going to use them for? Be part of that making of the billionaire, and you'll have a lot of control. Then you can get yourself a satellite launched into space. You don't have to worry about it. Anyhow, I've been going for too long. It's 2 hours. I appreciate each and every one of you showing up. Until next time, we'll have some other cool information from some cool sources of some stuff you didn't know you needed to know. Have a great week. Talk to you later. Peace out.